I'm here with Michael to tell us about WB Games and Snowblind's brand new Lord of the Rings War in the North. This game has been in development for a little while, but this is the year?
Yeah, this is it's really exciting because we've got it hands-on and it's on the show floor, and you know, the chance to get people actually playing it. And it has been in development for a while, but it's over the last year. It's really come together as a just fantastic action RPG.
All right, well, let's take a look at it. We've got a live demo going on right now on the Xbox 360. So tell us a bit about what we're going to see today.
So what we're looking at, I mean, the foundations of the game. First, it's by Snowblind Studios, so they've got this incredible heritage of action RPGs, co-op action, and I think this marriage between all this fantastic loot gathering, combat, and the character progression. So what we've been able to do is put that together with the Lord of the Rings, create this game that's all about fellowship, build it as a co-op game from the ground up. So make this fantastic three-player game, and then also, as well as that, what we're showing today is the three members of the Fellowship. So it's Farron, who's a dwarf, he's a warrior. Eridan, who is a ranger, so also has a good spectrum of combat abilities, skills, and Andriel, who is an elf, and also sort of the support for the party, but can kind of be a kick-ass warrior as well. And then, in addition to that, what we're revealing and showing for the first time is the additional member of the Fellowship, who's Belaram. He's one of the Great Eagles. So he's kind of an ally to the Fellowship, but this really kick-ass ally that you can use in combat. So you can bring him down to sweep down and take down huge numbers of orcs, or you can rip the heads off trolls in the middle of combat and so on. So we already had this fantastic, solid three-player co-op experience, and he's kind of pushing it over to the next level, I think.
Now, the three-player co-op is a really important part of the game, but how is it going to play when just by yourself, on a console? The other characters are kind of computer-driven AIs?
Yes. So, actually, there's a couple of really cool things about that. First, that you can play in any combination of the three players. So you can play two players on the couch, one player online, two players plus a bot, one player plus two bots, and so on. The online's really easy, so whenever you go online into someone else's game, you're taking your own characters, you're bringing back all the XP and the loot into your own game. But then if you are playing it solo, the bots play really well as well. They support you really effectively, and we've even got some very, very light, but just some basic orders you can give them to, put them back. Call them back to support or send them into attack. So it's really any way you want to play it, it works very, very well.
Now, there have been lots of Lord of the Rings games over the years. For folks that may be familiar with the fiction but don't understand exactly how this game fits into it, where is this set in the sort of the Lord of the Rings canon? So
there's a few huge advantages that we've got over any previous Lord of the Rings game. The first thing is that as Warner Brothers, we've got the film rights, so Peter Jackson's films, and we've got the literary rights. So what that's enabled us to do is to definitely go beyond the limits of just making a film game and to create a genuinely new experience, new story, new heroes set in Middle-earth, so hence the War in the North. So basically what we've seen in the story that we all know of Frodo and his journey is the southern front of that war, and now we're actually able to go and explore a whole new set of villains and monsters and locations that haven't been seen before.
So which famous characters from the books and films are we going to see in this game?
So in addition to our three heroes, who are new characters, the story does actually kind of touch on the Lord of the Rings at various points. So we interact with Aragorn and with Gandalf, and we meet with Elrond and so on. Also characters that were in the fiction, so for example, Elladan and Elrohir, who are Elrond's sons, who are referenced in the fiction but have never been seen in the films before. So it really, we can just take the best of all worlds of creating an original story, touching on the most famous heroes and locations, and also introducing elements that have been in the books but haven't been able to be fleshed out in games before.
Wow. Now, as you play through this game, these types of games, people always wonder, well, how much is action, how much is RPG? Seems very action-focused for fans that may be wondering how much RPG is there. What can you tell them?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and I think, for me, that's what I'm most proud about with this game, is it's actually it's an action RPG that has nailed the sweet spot of genuinely being a good action game. Like normally action RPG means an RPG with lots of action, as opposed to a tactical. This is actually pushing that to another level where it's genuinely a good action game.
Yeah.
The moment-to-moment melee combat, the range combat, and it's a good RPG as well in terms of Snowblind's expertise of making incredibly deep loot systems and character progressions and upgrades. And what's cool is when you take both those types of games and put them together, it's sort of 1 + 1 = 4 because suddenly, because it's a good action game, you really care about your character upgrades and your character progression and that path. And the two things sort of multiply on each other.
Right. Excellent. Well, we've got some questions I know online from Justine for you. Why don't we head on over there, Justine? What are the fans asking online?
We have one from DJA on Facebook. Will there be an evil campaign of any kind?
No, so War in the North, it's very, very much about fellowship, and it's a kind of 12-hour campaign following these three heroes and their quest to take down Agendour, who's the main villain, and prevent his plans of building this evil army and conquering Middle-earth. So we've really focused on that co-op experience.
Lewis S. says, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Where does the storyline fall in the timeline of Lord of the Rings?
That's a good question. So it's directly in parallel with the events of Lord of the Rings and with the War of the Ring. So it actually starts just as Frodo is leaving the Shire, and there's an event referred to in the books and not seen in the movie where the Nazgul destroy a ranger camp and kill a bunch of rangers, and it starts from that event and then launches off from there, and then it's happening as Frodo's travelling south, you're travelling north. And then what we know from what Gandalf had said is if these heroes hadn't succeeded in this quest, then the battles in the south would have failed anyway. So it's really, the two stories are linked together.
Nicholas M., they want to know if they can expect any other familiar faces from the books in the game.
So, well, actually, the key ones are the ones that we're revealing, so the Great Eagles as well, which in the books are very much fleshed out as being major characters and are just sort of, I guess, seen more as giant eagles in the movie. So being able to develop Balaram and develop those guys as characters has been a really key part of the game.
Very cool. All right, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Michael. Look forward to seeing War in the North later this year.
Pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent.